So let's get on to the important part. Let's get on to what you guys are all here for, and that's the games. So, all in all, ended up playing 14 games. Not bad. So, probably won't talk about all of them. Might just do some quick touches here and there. I'll definitely show footage for all of them in the edit. Let's start with the first game that I did jump into, one I was looking forward to and made sure to beeline it to right away, and it is Soulmates. So Soulmates, picture Overcooked in space. 4 little astronauts, and you are on a ship, and you're trying to navigate around, protect your ship from incoming attackers and monsters. You have shields you need to operate, gun turrets you need to operate, batteries you need to charge, the ship to turn around. All these things, and the 4 of you are running around trying to maintain your ship while defending it and survive. Originally, when I got there, I was the only one at the booth. There was potential to play with the devs, but luckily a group of 3 did jump up not too long after, so the 4 of us played. We did okay. We did end up losing against the big boss that they had for the demo, but it was just fun chaos and like that management panic of like, oh shit, I'm doing the guns, but I gotta reload it. Oh, I gotta go get this, go get the ammo, bring it over here. Oh no, the shield doesn't have enough battery. I gotta charge the battery, then I gotta bring it over here. It was a great time. I wish I got to play it a little bit more, or at least there was better communication with the teammates, but it was a fun time overall. Glad that was the first one that I jumped into. And it seemed like the day one's games were all multiplayer focused, and I was like, what am I doing to myself? Because there was a lot of them I had to wait for people to play with. Luckily, with the second game I played, Royalty Free For All, didn't have to wait and actually played against one of the devs, a very kind person there. They've been working on the game, I think he said about a year, but Royalty Free For All is a Smash Brothers like where all the characters are based on royalty-free IP, I guess you could say. Had some fun with that. It's your typical Smash Bros, arena fighter. Is it arena fighter? Is that what they call it? Brawler? It doesn't matter. Jumping around, hopping around, doing your lights, your heavies, your slides, your parries, your dodges. Had a good time with it. Another one I didn't play super long because your boy broke it. Apparently I did one move and the game freaked out and bugged and threw up an error. And they're like, oops, well, thank you for beta testing it with us. So they had to fix that, and I left there. And then the last game I played on day one was something called Mycopunk. So Mycopunk was one of the Devolver games they had adjacent to their booth. And Mycopunk had pretty good crowd most of the days, so I'm happy for them. This is a 4-player cooperative PvE game. Think like a Helldivers where you have all these aliens or monsters attacking you and you're working together to fend off the evil and achieve some objectives. With this, though, you're little cockroach insect guys. There's different classes. I believe I played one. Ooh, it was the yellow guy. Do I have the pin? I do have it. Oh, it just says Mycopunk. Well, I played this little yellow guy that had a lot of mobility to him, and it was really fun. The enemies that they all look like orbs with like octopus tentacles coming out of them, and boy, those guys take a lot of bullets. Quite hard and difficult in a way to take care of the bad guys and eliminate the enemies. So the objective that we had in the demo, you landed on a planet, you have to eliminate so many enemies, then a big enemy's going to show up. You got to fend them off for a little while, call a drop pod, and then you escape in that drop pod. The team I played with did not do super great. I was playing for a while, going, movement's going great, sliding around, dashing, all this stuff. And then I look over and my teammates are all dead. And I'm like, uh-oh. This was one of the lines that I probably stood the longest in for. So I had seen plenty of people prior to me playing this. If you die, your teammates have to revive you. So you're literally just standing there waiting, after waiting in this giant line to play this game, doing nothing. So I was like, well, that's awful. I don't want that on people, because I know if that was me, that would suck. So I'm running, gunning my ass off, getting these people. Now, the way you revive them, a little different from other games. I mentioned the bug part. When you die, you split into two. So your arms and torso and head go one direction, and your legs go another direction. Your teammates, in order to revive, you have to grab one of your halves and bring it to the other half and, like, stick you back together. So I did that. I managed to get all three of them back alive, thank goodness. We played a little bit more, and then I end up dying. And then two of my other teammates end up dying. And I was just standing there waiting for the rest of the demo, unfortunately. Never got revived. We failed the mission because we just got our asses kicked. So all in all, it was a fun game. It just wasn't a lot of game time for what I had stood there, unfortunately, to wait for. So it is what it is, but I had a lot of fun with it. The booth was funny too. They had a very nice set up in terms of like decor, but all of the, I assume, devs who were there, or at least the people who were running the booth, they all were wearing like cockroach onesies. So that was pretty funny, just have them walking around and stuff. Seemed like nice folks. Okay, then probably my not really hidden gem, but the one I had no idea about that I absolutely loved. So I talked about booths that drew you in, lured you in, like, hey, come play this game. This looks interesting. Come find out what all these flashing lights are about. And this game that got me is called Goblin. It's presented by Goblin Town, and it's simply called Really Hard Driving Game. SCO, you're welcome. So what it was you are a food truck looking thing RV, and you are just driving up this insane mountain path with different obstacles. There's fans, there's hammers, there's explosive barrels, and you got to navigate your way up this treacherous path and try your best not to fall down. The way the booth was set up, they would have 3 people play at a time. Let me tell you, props to these guys. Brought couches in and a chair. Oh, that was so comfy to sit in after the days standing on the convention floor, walking around. Sunk right into that couch. 3 people would go at a time. You play independently of each other, but what they would do is they would have it so the 3 of you play. You get 5 minutes. Whoever reaches the top, or rather the highest point, or is the farthest on the track in those 5 minutes, wins. And you get to play the game again in the physical truck that they have behind them for more prizes. So just by participating, the green screen's not going to do well here, but everybody got a pair of goblin ears, so that was lovely. And the woman handing them out was hilarious. She's just jumping around and skipping, handing out the ears, and then she'd hand them all out and be like, Goblin! She was amazing. I hope she kept up that energy the entire week. So you would do that. There would be one of the devs, or at least booth people on a microphone, like commentating over the 3 of you playing. So luckily, Slow and Steady won the race here. Didn't fall off. I will say one of the game mechanics that they did have saved my ass. So typical driver, gas, boost, brake, that kind of stuff. However, the game, where it gets funny, is they all had headsets and they all had microphones. The way it works, if you're falling, you can scream into the microphone and it will slow down time, but you will keep up your momentum so you can fix yourself. Like you have your normal momentum speed, or it carries, but time slows down around you so you can adjust, fix yourself, save yourself, and boy did that come in handy. Notice that talking does work. So I was doing that, like, no, go back. Had a few people behind me being like, freaking out, going with that. But we saved it, ended up playing in the truck. So like I mentioned, everybody got the pair of ears. If you went in the truck, you had an opportunity at 2 more prizes. If you got past the second checkpoint, you could win like a Halloween rubber mask, goblin mask. And then if you got to the third one, you could win a pair of latex ears. Your boy did not make it to either of those. I did the same. I think I got about to the same spot I did in the first playthrough. Went a little faster, but did not do great. Then ended up falling. The microphone did not work on that headset, so I was like, all right, I'm good. Just let the guy know. I'm like, I appreciate that. It was a lot of fun. But so Goblin Town, really hard driving game. Absolutely loved it. A lot of fun there. Next game we played was a game called Fretless. I believe this was at PAX last year. I remember a lot of people talking highly about it. This is a rhythm turn-based strategy game. Yeah. Pixel art. You're going around with your guitar and fighting different enemies. Turn-based combat. You use your guitar. You can get bonus damage if you hit certain attacks like on beat or on rhythm. Had a lot of fun with it. This was one where the booth was getting pretty crowded, and I talked about it in the first part, but like, I know how long people have been waiting because I've been waiting. So I try and be respectful of people's times, where if I'm done with the game, I'll reset it because I know the booth enforcers or booth people, like, they're working hard. They're doing a lot. So I try and take as much as I can off their plate and help them. So I'll go to the main menu or reset the game, make sure it's prepped and ready for the next person to head out. But I didn't play much of this one. I want to say I played maybe 10 minutes, but I saw the line was kind of building. I'm like, all right, I understand the whole concept here. I don't need to play the whole demo. And I think the dev appreciated that. He saw that I was resetting early, and he's like, thank you so much. So, very kind people, very nice. They were getting interviewed at one point while I was standing in line. Sounds like this has been quite the project for them. So, glad I jumped into Fretless. And a lot of these games, I think they have demos out on Steam now. So, please check them out if any of those do look interesting through the visuals or sound interesting with my shitty description, but hopefully good description. Then we went, this one was kind of over the course of a few days, but from the Indie.io booth. There's a few games here I wanted to check out. Two of them included Don't Die and Collect Loot. This is a top-down scrolling game, kind of like a Galaga where enemies are coming down from the top, but it's medieval-based. So you're a little dude and you're running around from the bullets, avoiding all the attacks and trying to eliminate the enemies as you progress up this vertical path. Fun, hard as hell. I did awful at this game. I think I gave it 2 tries because there was no line, and I was like, nope, I'll check this out in my own time. Could have been a mouse and keyboard thing and not a controller thing, just because that's not my bread and butter. But I liked the look of it. It was very pretty in visuals, bright colors and stuff like that. So I liked that. Just didn't do well. We did play 2 more games there, but they didn't really speak to me too much. Next one that was another high on the chart for me, and one I wanted to check out from my notes, was Sigils of Nightfall. Another turn-based one. Dungeon crawler, so you're a knight, and you are fighting off a lot of demons and monsters and stuff. The art style kicks ass in this game, but like I said, it's a strategy deck builder. So you have these different attack cards, defense cards, whatnot. You get to use 3 per turn, and you are just trying to eliminate the baddies before they eliminate you and go through this dungeon and whatnot. Had a great time with it. Played the full demo here. It eventually led to a boss fight. Did take him out. Absolutely loved it. The devs, once again, were great. Very nice people. Wish I kind of picked their brains a little bit more. But yeah, absolutely, this will be one on my radar of like, yeah, I need to play more of that. Because once again, the art style was great. And just picking up the strategy too of like, oh, I could see how this could be beneficial. It was one of those ones I want to know more about without obviously taking up time for other people in the line. Good times there. Went over to Bite Rockers next. They had a plethora of games there, like I mentioned Constance earlier. But I ended up playing one that was advertised on their wall called Net Attack. If you guys are fans of Vampire Survivors, this is a similar game. You're a little cat, kind of, a little cat avatar. It's a top-down, and you are hacking levels here. So you're avoiding the enemies and taking them out like your Vampire Survivors with some auto attacks that you can upgrade over time. The upgrade system seems like it can get absolutely nutty. You are chaining together like computer chips, and based on how you chain them, certain effects you can choose. this effect will take place on killing an enemy, on landing a critical on an enemy, doing this, that, and the other thing. So it's very customizable of like how your weapon set is going to be used and how you're going to dish out damage. That was a lot of fun. A little confusing because there was not much, if any, tutorials in this game. So that was my only negative. So you jump into the level, enemies are around you and spawn, occasionally. You get rid of them. You have to go and destroy computer chips on this circuit board. That was not explained, so I was just scooting around taking care of enemies and eventually died because of that. Did get a second chance and went, oh, whoops, I was supposed to do this. Had a lot of fun with it, though, especially for something I had no idea of prior and leading into it. So net attack was a lot of fun. Looking forward to diving into that more. I think they had a few different characters, too, eventually. So I'm curious how those characters play differently than the cat. Speaking of cats, Cat Secretary, another one on my list. Cute, adorable game. This booth had a long line most days, so I'm really happy for them. I think this was the first thing I hit on day 4. Once again, very kind people. Super nice, very welcoming to their booth. 10-minute demo, so short, but you're a cat. You're hired to this office, you pour coffee. I think the 2 tasks I did was pouring coffee, and then it was fixing the router for the internet. And then it was a quick area where there was like projectors that was like explaining the company and its history and whatnot. There was no audio for this. They didn't have a headset or whatever. And unfortunately, when I got to this time, the dev was like, he answered some questions like, hey, this is supposed to have audio, but it doesn't. We're working on it, yada, yada. He's like, I think it's also been 10 minutes. I'm like, hey, no worries. Totally get it. But I had a lot of fun with that. Looking forward to more of it. Shout out Gimmico in the first part, but this was at the Critical Reflex booth. So Gimmico, another game I didn't know about, is another arena game. Actually played quite a few of those, I guess, where you're trying to eliminate all the enemies and move on, progress from there. But you have this die. You start with a D20, and you take this die, and you're literally just hucking it and chucking it at people, at the enemies to try and take them out. And as you level up, you can upgrade your die so it does more attacks like neutrally, or you can get other die. So instead of chucking the one, running after it, chucking it again, you can pick up different ones that you have equipped. It seemed like a lot of fun. There was a lot of cute characters that you can interact at the upgrade stations or the stores. Very zany art style, but Gimmico looked like a lot of fun. Next one I played was Batsu. So Batsu was the other side of the Devolver booth there. And it's another team game, 3v3. And picture Fall Guys, picture Rocket League with, those robot toys or those little rectangular square guys where you can move their appendages, their arms and legs, and then you'll like stack them on top of each other in all weird, wacky positions. That's what these guys look like. But you're running around, depending on the game type, it was 1st to 5 for most of these. But it's either a sports game, so soccer, basketball, hockey, or it is elimination, like last person surviving, that's the team that wins. We got that one. We got trounced. But you can punch, you can kick, you can grapple, you can grab, you can do all these types of things. A lot of fun to watch. Another one, maybe not the best explanation, but it was chaotic fun in the best way possible. Like I said, we didn't do super great as a team. I think we got the first point and then got swept from there. Not great. But it was fun overall. The last game I'm going to talk about, this one was one of the PAX Rising games. Another one that had quite the line most of the time that we were there. It's called Cyberlich. I think there's like a subtitle with it as well, but that's all I got. It is a hand-drawn, I think boomer shooter is the terminology, so like your Doom type thing. This game is chaotic as hell, but fun. So you have 2 hands. Yep. One has your weapons, one has your heals and stuff like that. So for your weapons, you got a pistol, you got a sword. For your other hand, you have a burger that will heal health, or you have weed and a joint that will do mental health. And you have to manage all these things at the same time while blasting away skeletons and monsters and surviving. So they had 2 demos going on. They had a story mode, which I did not play, and then they had an arena mode, which was just this fast, chaotic action going around. The cool thing about this is the devs had a whiteboard, and they were keeping track of like high scores for the night, or the day rather, and the whole convention. Once again, I sound like a broken record here, but very, very nice devs. This is a game that the few of them have been working on for a year part-time. They're looking for a publisher so they can hopefully work on it more and then obviously get it out to people. Really cool art style. Had a lot of fun. It is chaotic as hell trying to manage everything. And thankfully I had some people in line like, dude, you got to do this now. Oh, do that. Oh, goodness. Like insane. Didn't help that I looked at the controller controls and then wound up playing mouse and keyboard, but that's on me. So Cyberlich was another great one. And that was pretty much all the games I did play. I heard about Tanuki Tan being fantastic. Ultimate Sheep Raccoon was there. That one had a pretty good line most of the time. Shapes and Beats was there again. I believe they were there last year. Good crowd around them with the music going all the time. There were some spooky games out there that seemed pretty cool. Yeah, great time overall. So, had a fun time with these demos. Looking forward to trying more of them. Like I said, if any of them caught your attention, make sure you go wishlist them. Make sure you follow them on socials. All that fun stuff helps them out. And you can keep track of these games and when they're going to come out. A few of them, I think, said they were going to try and aim for this year. But no definitives. It makes sense. They're smaller teams. So, take your time, do your thing, and just have fun with it. But yeah, everybody, that's going to wrap up for this episode of the podcast, covering all of PAX East my experience with PAX East 2025. Hope you guys had fun with that, whether it was obviously the IRL section at the beginning or just the game section later. Hope you guys had a fun time with that. If you have any questions about PAX, I'll try my best to answer them. Leave them down in the comment section below or whatever. But this has been another episode of the Wait What Are We Talking About podcast. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011, and you can catch this podcast right where you are on YouTube. If you like what you hear, please drop a like, drop a subscription, or subscribe to the channel. You can follow all the chaos here as videos come out, whether it's podcasts or gameplay videos and all that stuff. But if you want even more fun chaos, you can go over to twitch.tv/Enigma9011. You drop a follow over there where we stream Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, a variety of games, working through the backlog, new stuff, having some fun over there. You can come out and hang out with us. But appreciate you guys hanging out with me today, giving this a watch, giving it a listen, and we will see you on the next one. Take care.